All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Say something, Kevin.
Hello, hello.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Just getting nervous. Sounded too quiet. What were you gonna say?
It seems, yeah, I'm getting messages.
I know some client stuff,
client.
but I think
Yeah.
Florin and Sharon can handle that right now. So just
Yeah.
it's a deployment stuff, dude. Oh,
Okay.
you better jump on that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just jump. Life is happening all around us while we're live here.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But that's jump on that real quick. If they're just doing deployment stuff,
I can jump back in whenever. Um,
Yeah. I mean, you can stay here and just look at what they're doing anyway, but um, it's a bunch of coding anyway that we can do before we even have to test it. I just don't know how they need you at all right now, but
yeah.
at least talk to them. Don't disappear. Again, life in the big city here. Uh, so while Kevin's going to be a tiny bit distracted as he well, you have to leave this to go do that because you got to jump on that video call.
I'm going to try and just mute here and then unmute over there. So you'll see
All
me
right.
talking to myself.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So I've been working with AMP for the last couple days, and I've really been enjoying it. In fact, I feel like it's resonates with me even more because there's less noise in the editor as I work with it. And I've been working on Go stuff, but some new things around LangChain Go and tool calling and stuff. And I don't know those APIs intimately, so the agent stuff's been again really nice to play with. I'm so excited about some of the tooling that's there. But maybe the most exciting thing is I get back in VS Code. I don't know why I felt dirty not being in VS Code, man. I know Cursor's VS Code, but you know
Yeah,
what I'm
I have
saying.
my themes different in Cursor and VS Code, so it's kind of like weird almost looking at it again.
But why'd you do that? Why do you have different themes?
I just picked the high contrast. I don't know. I wanted to try it out.
Whoa, that's interesting. All right. So we don't have anybody on the stream right now, do we? Guess we didn't do a good job
There's
today.
7.
Oh, there are 7. I always feel like I see that, but whatever. Okay. Let me get back to our project here. Hold on. And let me get back to the notes. So we have this little UI thingamajig for the agent. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna focus on that right now. That's especially since you're gonna be distracted with some uh, client stuff, but hopefully not for long. I did want to focus on the file transfer stuff because now that I mean, technically, it shouldn't matter how we transfer the file. Like, right? We just have conduit at this point, whether that conduit is NATS or that conduit is a TCP connection. I think the way we've written the code, though, I got to go back through and look at all this code again. The way we've done that, I think, if I remember, this is I never okay. Now I'm looking for backend stuff, Bill. Backend stuff. Right? We have NATs, we've got TCP, and on the TCP side, we had the read. We had the I'm sorry for yawning. Oh my god. Binding. Yeah, look at all the work we did on the bind side so we could do a little handshake so we knew who that person was, remember? Reads right. Read. So we had the server side, which accepted a client
You
connection,
need
like when
to switch your screen, Bill.
oh shoot, I didn't switch. Thank you, dude. Um, I go under the business domain chat bus TCP. This is for when, like Kevin, you connect to me, cap to cap, and this is when um, this side of it is when I connect to you, but I don't know if we're doing anything with that. We should have put some notes in there. But this is like you bound a connection to my cap. We do a whole handshake, so I know who you are, and then messages come in. When you're sending me a message, it goes through. So it goes through that process there. We don't really receive messages back on the other side of that. But what I'm trying to deal with this is this right now. So when we're sending messages back and forth on the TCP side, um, this is it right here, right? We use the same NATS in and out message, which is interesting. I feel like that's a mistake in terms of naming things, but we've been hacking on this thing for 3 months on and off. So, um, if we don't have a WebSocket connection for the user, then drop the message on the floor because we can't deliver it. So yeah, so this code basically takes a message off the socket connection, assumes we're going to find a user connected here, right? A TUI,
Yeah.
and we do it. So this is for messages. Now, I've told you this 1,000 times. It even came up this week, right? It's better to add new code than to edit existing code,
Yes.
right? You
Yes.
can only break what's working if you edit existing code. You can only break the new stuff um, if you add new code.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think if we want to do a file transfer sort of thingamajig, it's gonna come through this. If we just do it on the TCP side for now, let's just say. Um, Actually, let's find the code where we do the send, because this is more of the receive side, right? So my guess is it's going to be on the UI side, since everything's going to have to go from TUI to cap to over and then back down, right? Like we're moving a lot of bytes around sort of when we do this, because this has to originate at the client side. So let me see something here. There has to be a UI. Okay, UI listen. So read message, incoming message, and then we do that. Now, again, I don't think I want to touch any of this stuff. So maybe we go and we did what we did last time. Let's go back to the app layer for a second. Remember how we started adding stay TCP connect or drop? Maybe what we need here is a TCP file transfer,
Yeah.
right? We could do it
Definitely.
over, right? Because then we can use a traditional HTTP form sort of upload to get it here up in the app layer here. Then it's just a matter of sending it over the TCP. But at that point, we could create, again, add, not edit. Then what we could do is just add some stuff to our chat package, which is our, I saw the word chat here, so I was looking at that. A.chat. Yeah, our chat business. So I think what we should do, yeah, okay, this will make it easier. Here's a TCP send message for a given client from, we could probably create a TCP send file.
Mm, yeah.
It could. Now, here's the problem. I think everything is easy in terms of adding new route, writing the HTTP code, getting the file. Ideally, it would be beautiful. You could stream it. We will have two caps. Those two caps. What I'm wondering, this would be cheating, but what I'm wondering is, now that I've got two caps
Hmm.
that can talk to each other peer to peer because we have tail scale, This could be kind of cheating, but both of the caps, yeah. Okay, it would be cheating. I don't know if I want to do this. We could just do this with straight HTTP, right?
Okay.
Where the TUI is just doing a traditional form upload. Our cap just basically blindly streams that across to the other cap using an HTTP endpoint, and then we just sort of um, read that, and we just got to bring it back down to the TUI. So in other words, instead of trying to use our TCP connection for this,
Hmm.
right? And because if I use the TCP connection for this, I've got to get in the middle of this
Yeah.
now.
All
I have
this. Yeah.
to we have to make a change to this where in out not process, sorry. Read string, and then essentially the in out message. It's weird that I'm seeing it like this, but we'd have to add stuff here to know what type of message. Is it a message? Is it file bytes? Is it sort of all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we would have to know all that first of all, and we would have to sort of change this. I don't want to touch any of this, right? We were learning and playing with that. Because of the tail scale. My guess is that we just need the endpoint. Just need an endpoint to do it. I'm doing this with Prediction Guard essentially, with like audio services where we can upload a file, process that audio image, let's say, and then like send a response. And we can also sort of proxy that across different mechanics. So that would be the fastest way to do it. We wouldn't be leveraging any of this. We'd just be doing it with straight sort of HTTP support. Now the question is that just sort of cheating in terms of like we're not doing anything raw? But I think if we want this feature functionality, um, this is what we should do. Now, what I need to look at too, real quick, um, is in our database. What do I have here? I have a host. So one should be able to argue that I should be able to use that same host to make an HTTP call to the cap, right?
Okay.
So in other words, we've got TCP host Kevin's MacBook Pro 4001. We're listening on 4001, but we would need a different port. Or it could be like 8080. We could just default 8080 for
Okay.
this other thing. In fact, what are we using anyway? One would argue that we have this already.
Was it?
Oh, we're
Um,
using 3000.
yeah.
We're using 3000. So technically, we're already listening on these routes over 3000. Technically, we could, technically, I could connect my TUI to your cap, right? With the tail scale. Oh man, now I just realized that none of these endpoints are secure because once you put this up,
Ah.
right? Like none of these endpoints are secure. Now that I think about it, um, like we should be, we oh yeah, you couldn't put this on the public. Yeah. Oh, you know, now that I think about it, going down this path here, um, we should be doing JSON Web Token support on all these endpoints that we keep opening up because once I have the tail scale going there, I could technically connect to your cap.
Oh.
There's just it's there, it's open, right? It's
Yeah.
no different. I I'm now starting to think what we should be working on here is support for cap endpoints. Yeah. Oops. Sometimes I get so confused on the tabbing with this stuff. Okay, well that's redundant, but essentially what we need to do is secure app layer endpoints with the JSON web token. So every one of these routes right now, if I connect
Mhm.
Tailscale with you,
Mhm.
if we do the Tailscale connection, I could hit every one of these endpoints. In fact, I could point my TUI to your cap essentially.
Ooh. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could get the state of your server right now. I could do a bunch of bad things. We didn't really secure the we didn't secure this, dude. It's not good, man. So if I'm going to use HTTP mechanics to do the file transfer, which is, I think, absolutely fair to do because it's already sort of built in. Um, we would want to secure that now. I mean, there's a lot of security I guess we didn't do because we're just
Yeah.
accepting TCP connections and people can, like, there's a lot of security we haven't done. But that would also mean then that if somebody wants to do a file transfer eventually when we're done here, um, then you would have to give them a token to do that, which is kind of nice, right? Like you're not going to just do a file transfer from everybody. I mean, at this point too, we do. You had to give me some information for me to even do TCP across this thing. Again, not secure, but we could use this same JSON web token to secure the TCP stuff too. Technically,
Okay.
eventually. So, oh man, I just feel like I just opened up a whole can of worms. I hate
Yeah.
security,
That
man.
that was like the rabbit hole there.
Yeah,
Security.
we could just get this to work, but then anybody could send a. Now, obviously, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think because if we were going to initialize a file transfer, we'd want to know who it was from. We'd have to have some of that information. That would be in a header. That's fine. But again, somebody could just sort of spoof that and say, there's nothing. Yeah, there's a lot of security we didn't think about. But I
Yeah.
think if we're going to continue to create these sort of functions, because the whole time I was doing this, I was just thinking the cap would be local. But now we've opened it up because TCP
Yeah.
is cap to cap.
Now it's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so what I think we could do, I have code for this already, is add the middleware we need to secure the endpoints. So
Yeah.
nobody could just connect to them without a JSON web token that we would provide and produce. That would also then mean that we would have to add we'll add the JSON web token to this contact, even though it's a cap. Yeah, but all this stuff is cap anyway. So once we have it, you'd add a JSON web token here. And then I guess we'd have an HTTP host, which would have that 3000 on it. Though it wouldn't be 3000 because Tailscale, remember,
Yeah.
we'll have to do
Some
something on
different.
the Tailscale side to sort of map that here. So we'll have to map another one of these to like 3001, 3000, let's say. So we'll need an entry for that.
Got it.
Can't use the same. So once we do that, then I would also probably pass the JSON Web Token over as part of the handshake to validate that, right? I've identified you as somebody who is allowed to authenticate on this system. We can use the JSON Web Token for some basic authentication here. I don't
Yeah.
think we have claims per se, but what's nice is we could put information about that person inside the JSON Web Token too. Actually, interesting enough, the whole bind process that we had here,
Read there. Yep.
see, at this point, then what you'll read is a JSON Web Token.
And you'd already have that information
The
there.
JSON Web Token would give us the user ID.
Yeah.
And this would be so much cleaner.
I think that's a good move to go then.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's fair. So in order for us to do all this, by the way, is Florin and those guys, they don't need you right now?
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. Okay, cool. We're gonna have to bring up the service project. I got everything I need there. So I'll sort of hack this in. Hold on. All right. So the first thing we need, make sure, is we need the ability to create a JSON Web Token with our claims and these sorts of things. Now, if you take the service project, I kind of walk you through this, um, all the APIs and the stuff that we need. I ain't going to walk through that, but we will need to add some tooling that will create a token. And we're going to need my auth package here that does everything that I want it to do. So I'm going to steal this auth package and then we'll sort of walk through it a little bit. This will be app layer because this sort of security is at the app layer here. Okay. So let's sort of walk through what we have here. We're not going to need any we're going to need authentication. We're not going to need authorization.
Okay.
At some point, we could say that you can do this, but you can't do that, right? And I don't care about that. So I'm going to probably get rid of the authorization, or we'll just leave it in there for a minute. Okay. Now, we're not going to have a user system. We've got logging in there, and we've got some new packages there that I have to tidy in, and nothing there. And yeah, we don't have. So in the service project, we have the concept of a role. Maybe I'll just bring that in too. So that's under business types role. Let me copy that and I'll put it in the same place. Business types. And we'll have this concept of a role. Now, really, honestly, though, we only need the role for authorization. So maybe we just get rid
Yeah,
of this.
that was gonna be my
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we only need it for authorization. I'll get rid of all the authorization stuff. We won't need it. In fact, I don't even care about the test right now. Let's just get rid of it. So we just need authentication. We have rules I don't need either because, again, most of the stuff with rules is going to be around authorization, right? Admin only, user only. We can get rid of
Yeah.
this. I'll just keep the file though. I'll talk about the OPA stuff in a second. And we are going to do authentication. And let me do a tidy here. Let me do a tidy here on our project. Make tidy. Oops. I think on the new machine, it's uploading the dependency cache, even though everything's rendered. I've been seeing this a
Hmm.
lot, like the downloading. So I didn't think it would update the cache, but I guess it does locally, even regardless of using vendoring or not. Okay, so look, there is some red stuff here, probably because
The
of,
user
yeah.
bus.
So we're not using this because that would be like an extra check to a database or something, which we don't need.
Gotcha.
And I don't need that. We'll walk through all this code in a second so you're not blind.
Um,
We'll authenticate. I don't know why that one's missing, but we'll deal with it. I don't have an authorize because I don't care about authorize. And we don't have his user enabled because we're not going to do anything to a database. And we're not going to check the database. And then I have this rule, which is very confusing to me. I'm sorry, around line 136. Oh, okay. I got rid of it. That's
yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, that was fair. Just okay. Just to be consistent there, right? We're going to need some more code from here, but we'll start here. Okay. We could do everything that we wanted to with the JSON Web Token package. Or maybe we should, just to keep this code base sort of simple. But I think for more complex systems or systems where you need more flexibility to be able to execute authentication and authorization, I prefer to keep it out of the Go code. And that's where OPA, or Open Policy Agent, sort of comes in. So Open Policy Agent is a really cool sort of tech. And it has its own sort of scripting language. It's not a Turing complete language. It's actually a really complex. I think it's complex. It's sort of Boolean in nature, and they update
Okay.
it and change it over time. So there's no way I could teach this. And they have a REPL. They have a Rego playground, which I have to use when I'm playing with this. But essentially, your policies are written in this other language. And these policies can be embedded into your software, like I'm doing here. But that means they're not flexible. That means that if I show you this, it'll be even better. So the actual rules around authorization are written in this Rego,
Okay.
right? And it's based on data that's inside the JSON Web Token claims and anything else that you want to sort of feed it. The authentication is literally just a JSON Web Token decode and verify call, which we don't need Rego for any of this. You could hard code, Go code for all this stuff or use, but separating it from the Go code means a couple of things. One, it means that you didn't necessarily write it because it's not in Go code. Two, these
Okay.
scripts, even though right now these scripts are going to be embedded in the Go service, they technically could be downloaded when you start.
Okay.
And that also means they could be updated while you're running. So if you had a security bug because this rule admin only was broken, or you wanted to enhance admin only, you could enhance that policy without having to rebuild your software. If
Oh,
the
okay. I
software had a
see.
mechanic to bring this down. Now, the other option is you don't even sort of download this. You use an OPA server. So you run a separate service that essentially stores these policies and executes them for you. So you don't even execute them on the Go side like we're going to do. And Styra, I think, is the company that sort of developed all this. They're like the key. So Styra has the services for this if you wanted to sort of really decouple yourself. So it's kind of cool because I always feel like you want to decouple yourself from all the authentication stuff. You kind of don't necessarily want to own it, right? You can just get in trouble. So here's a case
Mm, okay.
where you bring in Styra, you bring in a Styra service, you have all your policy scripts here, and then your Go service would hit that to do policy stuff, right? Yeah, there's a
Got
hop
it.
and
Okay.
all that good stuff, but you sort of offload it that way, right? Like you offload OAuth today to Google, right? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah
Yep.
blah. Stuff like that. But this isn't necessarily. I mean, other than JSON Web Token authentication, it's not real login stuff. So
Got
I
it.
mean, that's sort of the bottom line here. So um, that's why I kind of like the Rego. So here's like a Rego script, or I guess a policy a script, and it's a really weird language. Like there's a package name. We're gonna import this Rego version 1 stuff. Then you define these sort of variables that are going to be true or false. So auth is starting out at false. And then this basically is like saying set auth to true if like this is true. And this is a
Okay.
function call that we're getting for free thanks to Rego, and it returns 3 parameters. They do that, what do they call it? Tuple stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's an input that we're going to pass in, and the input's going to have 3 fields: a token, the JSON Web Token, the key, which is going to be our public key to validate the token with a PEM. Remember the PEM stuff we
Mhm.
did? It's coming back.
Yeah.
And then, and we already have the RSA key, so we'll reuse it. And then there are different fields that are part of a JSON Web Token, and you can like default sort of fields. This one is who issued it, and you can even have it
Okay.
validate who sort of issued the token. There's more you can do here, but we're kind of just doing the basics here. Again, I could
Yeah.
do this
Simple.
in Go with the JSON Web Token package we're using, but again, to separate it and to disconnect it from our Go code, it's just I think it's cleaner. So this is why you're seeing this package name. It's just sort of matching this. Um,
Okay.
and then you see the embedding. So I'm just going to embed this script into our Ghost service, which makes it static, but it's still, at least I have OPA sort of doing it, not Go code doing it. But in the
Mm,
future, right, instead of embedding it, when the server comes up, it could download this, or it could talk to the Styra service again, right? So you see
got it.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then in here, we have some really basic support for JSON Web. I call this a convenience package.
Okay.
Um, and you can see the package that I'm using as part of the community. They're up to version 4 of it. It's a nice package. It works great. You can also see the Open Policy Agent package that I'm using there too. So why am I yawning? Because I haven't had coffee yet, dude.
Ugh, I
Damn.
know. I was yawning this morning really bad.
So let me get rid of the things that I know we don't need, right? So what is a KID? A KID is a key ID. So
Okay.
you have to have the ability to rotate your keys. So we're going to have to create tokens using a private key. What if that private key gets compromised?
Okay.
Now,
So, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it gets compromised, it's no longer secure. We shouldn't be accepting tokens anymore that were created with that private key. So you got to have the ability to, one, rotate keys out. Stop using this private key for a new key. But you might have a policy where we rotate keys blindly every week. But you have a bunch of tokens out there that were created using an older private key that you still are good. That means that you need the public key to validate it. How do you know what public key to use if you've got tokens out there that have been created across a number of private keys? That's the
Mm,
KID. So
got it.
now there are companies out there that have these sort of databases that can store your not your private. If you're storing private keys, that has to be a secret. That's like when you start thinking about Vault or
Got it.
Google Secrets. Like when we're doing Cloud Run, we have to take our
Mhm.
private key and sort of store it in a secret, like on the Google side, and all that gets sort of done. But when we're doing token validation, we just need a public key. And it doesn't matter. That's the public key. So there are systems out there that let you store a public key, like in a database, and they give you the unique ID to that. That's the kid. We're gonna just do all this in process. So at config time, we'll just make up we'll create a UUID for the kid, and we'll just
Okay.
assign we've kind of did it already, I think. Um, so we'll do it internally, but ideally, none of this stuff gets embedded, right? All this stuff is out there. So we've got to, when we create the token, as part of the data in the token, we've got to add the key
Uh-huh.
ID in there. So we
Okay.
know what public key we're supposed to use to validate the token.
Mm.
So this is saying, hey, the kid isn't in the token header. Why is that? Right? Or you gave me a bad kid or something like that. Without the kid, we
Got it.
can't validate. Unless you're only ever going to use one key and you don't need a kid. But that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to be able to rotate
Yeah, and this
in
code
like a
doesn't
real
have
world.
it has the facilities for you to add rotation. I didn't really put
Hmm.
it in there, but it's sort of there. So
Gotcha.
the JSON web package gives us a structure. These are the default claims that every token would potentially have. It's just a standard set of things you can add to a token, like the
Got it.
issuer, which is what I'm checking, the subject. We're definitely going to add stuff for expires and maybe issues at, so we can see that sort of stuff. You shouldn't have necessarily a token that lasts forever, but I think the token we create will probably be like 20 years or something. Um,
Okay.
no, but like, remember the system we built for Connect 4?
Yeah.
We used this code. We created a JSON web token that was like 20 minutes long. Oh no, 2 hours.
Yes, I remember. I remember. Yeah,
So
I remember now.
essentially, what that meant was that when a person logged in to play the game, they could play for 2 hours without having to log out and log back in. But after 2 hours, we would say, "Hey, your token's no longer good."
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
So the claims are essentially all the different aspects. Like if you put it into a decoder, that's what
which we
you would see
will.
as
We'll
the
see it.
information.
It's not encrypted.
Yeah.
It's encoded. A base 64 encoded. So can't
Yeah.
put anything private in there. But anything that we need, we'll put in there. Um,
Gotcha.
Brian's using an AI chat app. Yeah, I use AMP, Brian. You should check out AMP if you haven't done it. We've done Copilot, we've done Cursor. No, I'm playing with AMP. Okay, so now we're not doing any authorization, right? Authorization says what you have access to. So I'm going to get rid of the roles because I don't need it.
Yeah.
Now, I did create an interface here that abstracts how you do a key lookup,
Okay.
because how you find the public key shouldn't be hard coded into this code, right? So that's what this interface is. Now, on most systems, you wouldn't have this. This goes away because you wouldn't be doing a lookup for a private key. You'd be doing a lookup for a public key. But because of this code, and I'm making sure that everybody can just clone it and run, you also have to be able to get the private key to be able to create JSON web tokens and stuff. I sort of did this. But if I saw this in any of the production systems that we're using, I'd probably be like, what do we like? I would just want to double check what we're doing.
Yeah. What's the purpose?
Though again, if you're just checking tokens, you only need the public key. So that's why you usually have system A creating tokens, and system B checking tokens. You usually don't have the same system doing both. We have the same system doing both. So there you go.
Got it.
Okay. We've got a config, which is just our logger, the concrete implementation of our interface, and then I just added issuer just to have something a little bit more, which will be part of the config. Our auth type, nothing crazy going on here, right? You need a signing method as part of the JSON Web Token. We're going to be using RS-256. There are different algorithms that you can use. If we go to JSONWebToken.io, you can see here, man, why is this running so? Man, that was slow. But if you come here, oh, wait a second. I don't think the CSS loaded, right? I came here specifically, we're going to use this to decode our thing. But like, here's another algorithm,
HS.
HS-256, which
Yep.
is like a shared secret. And that's the shared secret right there. But there's a few algorithms that you can use. I like
Is there
RSA.
like a reason to use one over the other?
If the system is fairly simple, then a lot of people just use the HS-256. That's just a shared secret. Now, you got to keep that shared secret private, but it's just
Yeah,
that string they have to do. I think
got
for
it.
more robust systems, it's better to have the private public key pair, because then you can secure the private key really well and just give out the public key, where we'd have to give everybody the shared secret.
Oh, okay,
You
I
see what
see.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, or at least the system that's not everybody, but at least the system that's going to be doing both creating and validating. It's the same thing as opposed to two separate things.
got
You
it.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah. So, but you can see here, this is a JSON Web Token, and you can see the different parts. So we're going to add our kid in this header section. So you're going to see a KID in here. And then
got it.
we're not going to really have a payload right now, except maybe that user ID eventually when we do it. Maybe we add a user ID to it. So if I go back to our code real quick and I come back here, that would have been the idea here. I'm wondering why AMP is not there. Like, I've been waiting for AMP to sort of jump in. So that could be part of our claims, right? Your user ID. I can keep it a string right now. I don't remember if we're using UUIDs, right? So
Hmm.
we could use a strong type here too if we wanted to. Oh no, our IDs are not user IDs. They're
They were common address, right?
ECDSA common addresses. So again, we could use a strong type here, but let's just keep it string. It's fine, right? That's what it is. So the idea now is that when we come back here, we'll see um, the user ID. Now, there is a default field called sub for that. That's supposed to be the subject. So one could argue that we could just use subject for this and we'd be fine. That's part of registered claims. See subject. So we could
Got
add a
it.
user ID, but or just use the subject. Let's just do that.
Okay.
Okay. So now when we construct this, one thing that I'm doing here, which is a little bit limiting, um, Daryl, normally it just comes up and you tab, but I feel like my machine, something's going on in my machine. It just feels slow right now. So, but that was the first time I've ever had to wait for it to like sort of kick in. Um, this is kind of restricting, but I haven't had an issue with it yet. This little auth package right now is set up to just work with one um, signing method, not multiple. And I'm hard coding
Okay.
RS-256. So if you're ever in a situation where you're dealing with JSON Web Tokens, but you're dealing with multiple tokens, using multiple sort of signing methods, this wouldn't work, right? You'd have to have a list again, and probably somehow tied to a kid somewhere
Okay.
along the line. But for my purposes, that's fine. So a signing method is what's going to let us attach a signature to the token. That's what this third part is in blue. That's the signature.
Okay.
Um, and they changed this screen, which is a bummer to me because there used to be a button here that, oh, it says signature verified. There used to be a button here where if this was RSA, I could drop the, we're going to have to figure this out because when I teach this stuff, it's been a while. You used to be able
Mhm.
to just drop your public key in there and hit a verify button, or I guess maybe it would do it automatically. Maybe I guess I could just put the thing in there when we're ready. Anyway, that's the signature. That's what we're going to do to verify that
Got it.
this is a token that we signed with our particular private key. So,
Okay.
um, just bringing back the issuer. So we're going to need this function here. This is to generate a token. So given a kid and a set of claims,
Hmm.
we'll use our JSON Web Token package to create a new token. So this creates a token, unsigned, but a token.
Okay.
We can then assign our key ID to the header. Then we need the private key. And then with the private key, which would be in a PEM format, remember the PEM format is, where is it?
Wasn't
There.
wasn't it there?
So
Yeah.
this is the private key PEM format, right? This is how
Hmm.
we tend to like have access to these things. So at least one way. So given that PEM format, we need to convert it into an RSA.private key struct. So we have an API. And then what we do is we say, take the token, sign it with that private key. And then we get that third part. This returns a string,
Hmm.
which essentially gives us these three things separated by a dot. So we'll
Got
get
it.
this string back from it. So we just need a private key for that. Then authenticate, what it's going to do is we're going to pass it the token. You can see here that we're giving it the whole, there's a standard where the token has the word bearer in front of it. If it's a JSON web token, there's different ways to do this. So this function just takes the whole value that's in the header for the HTTP call. It will parse out bearer. Also notice that I'm expecting that to be a capital B. We then strip the word bearer and the space out of it. I now have a JSON web token unverified. Now, it looks like what I do here is I use the API from the JSON web token package, and I call this parse unverified. I'm not verifying the signature here. They have
Okay.
a function where, given the public key, they can do this. But I wanted to play with OPA, right? So no
Okay.
reason to do it here and then do it with OPA again. So
Yeah.
unverified essentially will just parse all the data back into our claim struct. It's basically going to give us this, it's going to give us this without worrying about that.
Got it.
So we now have the token. I'm able to figure out what the kid is, right? Like tell me what the kid was, the key ID was inside the token. We get that back using an empty interface, so we have to put it into a string. And then we could do a public key lookup. So what public key do we need in order to verify this token based on this key
Mm.
ID? And
Okay.
then once we have that, we can execute that OPA policy script. So you could see the input to the script. Remember input.token, input key,
Yep.
input ISS. The input, in this case, I just do it as a map. It's a key value pair. So there's the PEM, public key PEM.
Yep.
There's the token and the issuer, which we'll configure. This is what we expect. And then I have a little function that does the policy evaluation. Now, there is a bit of an inefficiency here because this prepare for eval kind of does a pre-compile.
Okay.
So essentially what we do is we define a query. This stuff is really abstract, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying x equals data dot the OPA package, ardan.rego, and the rule. And the rule that we pass in here ends up being auth. So remember, data dot ardan.rego dot auth.
Off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ardan.rego.auth.
Got
See how
it.
that's
Okay.
sort of tied in there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're saying, give us the value of auth after this executes. Basically, true or
Mm,
false.
got it.
Really convoluted. So here's the query. Here's the script. So we're going to feed it this whole script.
Yep.
And then we're going to say, prepare this for execution. Now, you could, if this pre-processing was really slow for you, you could do this at service startup. But
Okay.
you'd have to make sure that this isn't necessarily really like this isn't dynamic, and maybe this isn't dynamic, but then you could sort of attach this rego thing to something and pre-compile it. So I'm just stressing to everybody here, like I'm doing this over and over and over again, and it's probably redundant because at least for this project, this is the only rule that I use, right?
Yeah.
And for most
Yeah.
projects, you have a small number of rules. On the service side, I have maybe 5 rules. So essentially, I should do this 5 times for each rule at startup and then just do eval. I just want to make that
Mm,
clear to everybody that's watching it. All right. Okay. So whatever. So I do this on the fly again. Um, and then we call this eval function with the input that we want to feed it. And then it executes it. We validate that the execution of this didn't fail. Not that the script succeeded or not, just nothing failed with that. And
yeah.
then you check the bindings, this X variable. We know
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to be a Boolean, and we check to see if it came back true or false.
Got it. Okay.
This is some convoluted stuff. Um, but when you're doing this sort of work, since there is a um, playground, you can see here that this is where you would work your rego, passing it input, validating that it works. This also does linting, so that's sort of good. So
Oh,
every
that's
once
nice.
in a while, they change the syntax. And when I put it in here, it complains that I'm not like linted properly anymore. Um, and it's not complaining. I see like sort of messages. So over time, they've changed things, and I've come in here just to. Now, I'm not going to evaluate this because I'd have to set up these inputs, and I don't want to spend time doing
Yeah.
that.
It
But
would be a
you
different
definitely
structure.
need to play in this Rego playground if you're doing this stuff before you sort of bring it back in here, because to do it here is really, really tedious.
Yeah.
So thank God.
Very
Okay.
cool. Okay.
So we now have our authenticate function here, and we have the ability to generate a token. So this is all the sort of auth support that we need. Now, a couple things. We have our auth package. We already have a key here that we could leverage. What we need, though, is a key store, a store that can store at least our key, right? Because we have to implement that interface that we had.
Mm,
Remember the interface
yeah.
that we have here, which is
The
I need an
private
implementation of
public.
this.
Yeah.
So in the server project under foundation, I have a key store package. And this package is an implementation of that interface. It's super simple, dude. All right. It's just a map of kid to a key where I have both a private and a public PEM.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Again, like from a production standpoint, I've used it in some of our projects because they're simple and everything can be transient in memory.
Mm-hmm.
But ideally, your implementation of this would probably be making a call to Vault or a call to a key store for your public key or something, right?
Got it.
I did create a couple of load functions. So there is a JSON format that we use on the Google side for our keys. And
Okay.
this function there can basically, given a JSON document with the key and the PEM, can unmarshal it. And then we just put it into the map here. We use this for all of our Google Run stuff, like the Connect 4 and things.
Got it.
But to make it simpler, also for like my service project, I have this load by file system where I can give it a folder. And if it finds a PEM file, it will sort of load it up. Now, notice I didn't call this PEM, I called this RSA.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do for our code here is change this to say RSA. All right.
Got it.
And I'm going to point it to, in our case here, copy relative path. I'm going to point it to this folder here. So in main, we'll use this function. We'll point it to the Zarf client ID folder. It will find that key RSA file. It will open it. It will read it. It will then have the private PEM. We'll convert that to the public PEM as well. And we'll have both private and public PEM strings in there. And then I have to get rid of RSA here. Okay. And then whatever the name of the file is, that will be the key ID. So in our case, the key ID is just going to be key. If you look on the service project, see how I have a UUID there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we need that for us. So when we look at the token, the key ID is just going to be called key in this case. And that's fine for what we're doing. And then here's the implementation of the interface. So private key, find it, public key. And then this is just the code that takes the private key in its PEM format and produces a PEM in the public key in the PEM format. So, sort of all there, all Go stuff, really. Okay, we now have a key store for this. What's next? What's next now is us integrating. So there's a couple of things we can do. I could go right into main and start integrating this just to sort of see it and then bring it over and then we can do some middleware, I guess. So let's do that.
Yeah.
So if I go back to the service project, it's going to be an auth. I'm going to add the auth section to our project here. And remember, this is not going to be that folder anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be that folder. So instead of giving it an environment variable that would have a JSON document that would, this could be the JSON like we do in Google Cloud Run. I'm just giving it the folder. I'm going to say
Okay.
look for key files there. And then the active kid, which is what we need to create tokens, is just going to be called key,
Key. Yeah.
right? You can have a lot of public keys because you've done that, but you need to know which key, your private key, you're using to create the next token. If we're doing
Mm,
both, and
okay.
then this, we're going to call this, the issuer is the Ultimate Software Design Live project. So that will be the issuer, and we're checking that the issuer is good. So there's some config there, and then here is some initialization support. Let's bring this in. Okay. Cap ID, TCP. I want to do this before we do anything else, I think. Let me see. Yeah, before we listen or anything. What if we did it here? All right, let's take a look at this now. We don't need the load by JSON. We're just not going to use it. In fact, I can just get rid of this, right?
Yeah, I could remove it
For our
from.
purposes. So you can see here that I don't even need this comment right now. Okay. Keep this simple. This returns a, I don't even think I need this either. So what we're going to do is create a key store. We'll load that by file system to wherever this was. That doesn't change. Then we can create a auth config and create a new auth system based on these things here. So that's our auth. Now that we have auth support, we need to pass this auth package across to our mux config, essentially, so we could get it where it needs to go. So we could pretend now that we're going to have an auth, which will be the CFG auth. All right. No, not CFG auth. It will be that auth package, auth variable that we just created, which is, what did we call it? Sorry, dude. Oh, ATH. Not to mess with namespaces and stuff. Okay. So ATH is this, right? So what I'm going to
Yep.
do is come in here now. See, there's AMP
There it is.
doing what it needed to do. Okay. So now in the config, we have the auth. That's good. That was the config. That got passed to the mux here. And now what we need to do is exactly what AMP is doing. See here?
Yeah.
We can add it
Okay.
to the routes. And I can go to the routes and it,
There
oops.
it is. Ooh.
Yeah, that's me just not knowing how to do things. And then new app, we can do it there under new app. And I would say that it might be smart enough to know there. Didn't bring it in. But that's okay. I don't, doesn't bother me. Cursor's really good at that part, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is up here.
It's giving it to you there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
there.
it did
Yep.
it. It did it. I like this so much better than cursor. Do you see how it's
It's
like not in your way? It's not like cursor's
yeah, it's
always
more minimal.
so much more minimal. Um, cursor's always trying to do something for you constantly instead of, and it's easier to kind of get it out of my way. Okay, so look at what we've done now. I've got, now I don't think this needs auth actually. I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need to bring auth all the way here. We just needed it for the middleware. So Though I do appreciate that it wanted to do that, it's not necessary. We needed auth here because this is where the middleware is going to be um, being used here. I'm just using VS Code with the SourceGraph AMP plugin. It's super easy to create an account. They give you $10 out of the box, and that can go a very, very, very long way. And I've been doing a lot of agent stuff actually. I wonder. I was doing a lot of agent stuff the last 2 days.
Yeah, you gotta check the usage.
I'm not using it on the show at all right now, but I wonder. Log into AMP.
Mm,
So since
almost 7.
Tuesday, I've used $7, but I was going pretty hard yesterday on the agent, trying to figure out how to use this LLM stuff. Um, that was pretty hard. That actually seven. That feels. I went pretty hard yesterday trying to get some APIs working that didn't work. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
I feel like that's pretty good. I
Yeah,
feel like
except
it's
if I'm,
comparable to
I don't know,
Cursor.
like $10 a week can get can get. Well, $10 a week would be about what would be $500 a year, and I
Yeah,
already
I
gave
mean,
Cursor $160 or something. But then
and that gives
again,
you
like I said,
20 bucks a month with that.
but but I went, like I said, dude, I went. I don't have the project up on. I went. I went like really hard yesterday with having it go back and check and go back through the documentation and find me the code that works, and it did it. Like I was actually grateful that it did all the research and found the APIs, and not that the code worked because there's other problems, but um yeah, I don't know. The other actually, now that I'm here looking at it, the threads, right?
Yeah,
So
that's how
look,
you
so
can go back.
yeah, so look, I had 90 messages yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It would be interesting. I'm gonna talk to the source graph guys. So this is, yeah. So here's the cool thing about source graph, which does Cursor do this? Because I never tried to look for it.
Where you can see like your chat history.
Everything, you could see how dumb Bill Kennedy is here. Yeah. Um, like this is how hard I went
I don't
yesterday.
I don't think it does.
Like what would have been interesting here. I'm gonna talk to those guys. So this is kind of cool because you get a history. Other developers could leverage this, I guess, if you figured it out and you wanted to like, um,
Yeah,
but
because
see,
I
I need
think
to check how to
part of
set the.
it, like part of the AMP from the little bit that I read on it was supposed to be like where you can have a team basically working off of the same threads and like
Oh
multiple
yeah,
people like working on the same basically thing.
off the same exact thread. We're all sharing the same history. I have to ask.
I I could be wrong, but I want to say that's what I read. Like the threads was it's sort of like an in like a work area.
So here's all the questions that I
Yeah,
asked.
workspaces. Yeah. Email with a link to join. Workspace threads are visible to all workspace members,
Oh, you
making
have
it
to be in a
other.
workspace. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, it doesn't matter. What would have been interesting here? I have to ask them because they're generating the stats. I'd like to know where my money went.
Oh, like which prompts were the or which
Yeah,
questions were the most expensive?
yeah, I'd like to see at the end of this, right? So here's two. So right here, right before two, right? What was that like this sort of information that kind of I guess that they give here. But because I've used $7, whatever was it again?
Yeah,
I,
seven, like 680 something.
yeah, I've used almost $7. Again, I rarely use the agent, but I was going pretty hard on the agent. The the tab complete stuff is free, but
Yep.
man, that was $7 worth of cost yesterday. I don't know. I feel that scares me a little bit. Anyway, whatever. Ed's paying for it anyway, so. um, okay. Okay, back to this. Okay, so no sidetrack. This is where we got to do the middleware. So I'm gonna under this app SDK, I'm gonna add. We already have a mid folder, actually. Oh, we already have some middleware, right?
Hmm.
So we're gonna find in the service project now. Authenticate. Now I have to make sure we use the right one. This is it, bearer. This is using the auth package here. So let me copy this. Oh, I don't need AI training. Paste. Let me get rid of this. This is a network call. And I don't need basic, parse basic auth. We just need this one call here. And I'll let it find the right imports. And then let's take a look at this middleware function. So it's going to look in the header for an authorization
Okay.
header. And oh, that's where it's going to pass it. This is that authenticate call we just wrote. We should have some claims with a subject in it. Now, this code assumes that the subject is a UUID, which it isn't. So let's not do that. Now,
That's
in the
because now
service,
the subject is key, right? Like it's just.
it's that ECDSA, right?
Oh, okay.
It's your identity here. Now, we're going to want to gain access to this information. So part of what the project does in the mid.go file, I don't know if I did this here. Yeah, is there? Is we could do the following here. Let's add these two set user. That's funny that I set subject, set user ID, get user ID. I have to look at the server service project because I guess I used subject differently than that's confusing to me. What am I doing with subject on the server project as it relates to user IDs, you know?
Hmm.
Hmm. I don't understand that. All right, let me just take what I need right now and not get distracted, which is so easy for me to do. Um, you see how AMP isn't getting in my way with that stuff either, which I'm so grateful
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Cursor
That's
would
where
be jumping in
cursor,
there.
oh my God, it would be jumping in there. Like I've realized now that it's doing too much, like way too much, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so what we could do is at least store the claims in the context so we can get back to them. And then instead of, yeah, I really need to later on today understand. Actually, let's do this. Where is this being used? Get the subject ID. Oh, I know where this is being used. Okay, I am going to go down this path. This is really confusing. Yeah, Yeah. Okay. I get it now. There's no way I can even explain it, but I understand it. So I think what we can do, sorry, uh, we decided we were going to use subject, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, oops, sorry. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just take these two. We'll clean them up. So we have the get claims, set claims. How about we'll call it user ID here, even though we're going to stick it in the subject, right? Now, that means here we have set, yeah, make your change. So nice, right? So this will store this stuff into the context for us, and we'll have access to it where we need it. Nice. I like creating a
Cool.
setter and getter API when it comes to putting values in and out of the context.
Okay.
Just makes it clean. So now you've got this bearer middleware. Now we've got to integrate the bearer middleware. So if I look at auth app route, you'll see here how I create in the routes. Let's go to domain route. Yeah, I did it before. Let's do it before. Okay, cool. Now that is wrong. So don't do that. So now I've got a middleware function. Okay. So the reason this is wrong is that the middleware function should be coming after.
Mm. Okay.
Um, I don't know why AMP got that confused, but it belongs there. Method group, path, handler, and then middleware. So now what's going to happen is anytime any of these endpoints are hit, this middleware function is going to run.
Okay.
And if the token is not there, even though we're not using this right now, if the token's not there, this is gonna fail. So that would mean right now that if I run this, we wouldn't be able to connect, even establish a WebSocket connection. In fact, let's watch
Mm.
it fail miserably,
Yeah.
sort of right now, right on my local machine here. I'm not gonna push that yet. Okay, so let me do what I always do. Ardan, change directory. Oh, USDL. Okay, so if I do make run cap, that's fine. That should be fine. That didn't fail. You see in the config now, key.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Okay, now this is going to fail miserably because it's going to try to do the connect call, and the middleware is going to say no.
Mm. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, wait, I did the wrong one. Make run TUI. Boom.
Bad hand. Okay.
Yeah,
Doors
because
off. Yeah. Okay.
you're not authorized now, right? In
Yeah.
fact, we could even fix the um, wherever that is done, which my guess is
The
here. No,
the handshake.
it was on the
No.
handshake, right?
Yeah.
So I go back to handshake. Handshake is here's the dial, there's the error.
Dial website. Yeah.
Yeah, WebSocket. So it failed. I was wondering, we don't own this function, so
Hmm.
and we don't get back the well, we do get back the response, right? So if I did this and then I said, now watch,
Should give us the 401, right?
401
Yeah,
unauthorized, right?
401. Yep.
That's what we were expecting. So very
Awesome.
cool, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
not awesome in the sense that everything's broken right now, but
Yeah.
awesome in that we've at
It's working.
least secured um, secured those things with our JSON Web Token. Okay,
Very cool.
now we need to create a token, bro,
Yeah.
and get that into our config here. So the thing is that the thing is that the cap now has to create a token, and then from that token, this TUI has to use that token to talk to this cap. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So how we need a little tool to generate a token now that that's secure, right? That we can only use, say, locally.
Hmm.
That way, I have to give when we do the file transfer, I have to give you a token to make that work,
Which would
which is
we
good
could do
because
it
I'm
like a
authorizing you to be able to do these things, right?
sort of how we do like the slash share key command.
Well, that is me sharing with you a public key so we can encrypt messages. But maybe,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying
you
we
know
could
what?
do
We could technically wire that in. Yeah, we could.
to do like a shared
Right?
token or something
Yeah, we could
or
say send token. Though that would have to be encrypted and all that other stuff. But yes, one
Mm,
could argue that that would be one way to sort of do that. Um, but right now, to get this system to work, we have a couple things that would be good that we have to do auto magically, or nobody can clone this thing.
yeah.
Um, I think in the my account, we're going to need to put that token.
Yeah.
We need it in the my account. That way, this TUI can talk to the cap. So we need the JSON Web Token there. We need to do that auto magically. And that needs to be done at startup. Now, in order to generate a token, so here's the fun part. We need a token.
Yeah.
The client needs to be able to generate the token, and the client needs to be able to have a private key to do that. I can't and we need this to work so anybody on the planet that's watching this, when they clone the project, right? And we create this, remember how we create this on the fly so everything works for everybody?
Yep.
Um, it
It needs
that
to be
still
part of that
works. Yeah.
process.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to have to manually do anything. So what that means is that our TUI, unfortunately, our TUI right now needs access to the private key. So
Ooh.
for the cap, yeah, no, all bad, right? So
Yeah.
it can generate a token. If not, we have to do this manually. And I don't want to do this manually.
Yeah. No.
Now, the other option is we build a little CLI tool that we execute, hack it in there to execute that will sort of do this. And maybe that's what we do. That way it's not sort of hard coded in there, but we'll, um, at the end of the day, though, just because we need people to be able to do this call here is what creates this creates a DB, a new DB. See?
Yeah.
So bottom line is
And we're doing the my account. Yeah.
we we have to have the token before this and pass it in.
Mm,
There's just no way
okay.
around it. We've got to be able to create a token here. Um, with all the parameters that we need in terms of but I need your ID, right?
The or that's your
Oh yeah.
cap ID, right?
No, that's my ID, my account
Oh,
ID. No,
oh,
it's
oh.
okay. That's what this is doing, right? This is creating it's creating an ID if it doesn't already exist. All right. So we're in good shape. The problem is that no matter what, we need to create a token here for this system to work, which is fine. This is fine. Okay. We need a token here. So what we could do to simplify this now, I need to do a new auth here.
Okay.
And again, I can maybe hard code some stuff here just to get us going here. Now, remember what I needed in order to make this work.
Um,
Let me see. I need almost all this stuff here. Let me see. Let me see. I needed a key store. I need a keys folder. I'm just going to steal this for a second.
yep.
That was nice. You deleted everything else, but that was nice. Let's see if you help me now. Nice.
There it is.
How it does that, I will never understand it. But so now it's going to fix this, which is nice.
It's moving down also.
I don't have a logger. I'm going to fix it so I don't need a logger. I'm going to just do nil. I don't need a logger. Now, I don't know what happens if the logger is nil. So let's just triple check that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure I'm using the logger. Use it here. I see. But in my case, I just need to generate a token. So we're going to be fine. I'm not using it here to authenticate. Okay. So cool, right? This gives me an auth. Then I should be able to say generate token, active kid. I wanted this to be lowercase. That's my fault. And active kid. Okay. And now the claims. What do we want to do with the claims here? Okay. With the claims, the only thing I cared about was the subject, right? And I think I have to do. Oh, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. Okay. And you don't know that because you didn't bring it in. Because why would you do that? Because why make my life good? Oh, you did it for me there. Subject, my account. So we just have to say string. And then it can do that.
Yeah.
So that would generate the token, right?
Okay.
At startup. And then I would say we pass the token into new DB. There's our
Yeah.
token.
Huh.
And then I would pass the token in here. And I come in here and I got the token there now. And then I agree with that decision. And then I agree with this decision. And then we have to add a token to this. I'll call it JSON Web Token.
Mm-hmm.
Now, based on what I just saw here, should we call this JSON Web Token here?
For consistency. Yeah.
Good. And then, so that's
Uh,
disk. And I got to go
there
back from the
was.
beginning here.
Yeah.
The token, my token. Let's come back here for a second. So our JSON Web Token, we need to add it here too. Our client needs a JSON Web Token string. Okay. So we do a new, we get
Yep.
that. A new DB. We do that. We do that. Create on disk.
Yep. It's
We
doing
do
it
that.
there. Doing it there.
I think it did it.
What I feel like I'm noticing is AMP doesn't have it where for cases like this where you can tab and it'll take you to the next file that needs to change.
Yeah, but I kind of like it because again, it's not like cursor was cool, but at some level, it was frustrating that it was constantly
Yeah.
doing this. Like this is forcing me to better
Yeah,
read the
actually
code and
read
go, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
You notice how here we're saying yeah, yeah, yeah instead of
Exactly. Yeah. trying to find where it's at. It's more
it's
like,
just
okay,
so
yeah,
much
it's right to be
better.
here.
It's just so much better to just feel yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, that gives us a JSON Web Token. Now, the problem is that there's two problems now. I'm gonna save this. Hold on, because I don't want to lose my ID, right?
Hmm. Yep.
I'm gonna put this in. I don't want to lose it. Um, I'm just gonna put in a temporary file off screen for a second. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so I have it. I'm not losing it. I'm going to close all this. One more thing before I do this. I wanted to create this file again. Then I'm going to update it. I just want to see it create a token. But what I want to double check is the call is still going to fail because I'm not using the token yet. So all I want to see right now is that the token got created.
Yeah, whether it's actually in the file or not.
All right, that's fine. I should have a data JSON, and there's the token, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put back my thing. I'm gonna add this and get rid of all this. Okay. So I'm back to where I was.
Yep.
Okay. Now, let's take the token that was created. I can't believe that worked. And put it into our little thing here. And you can see here, there's our kid, there's our type, there's our algorithm, and there's my
Account ID or
yeah.
yeah.
Now I wonder why it has a capital A there. I wonder if it matters. But you know what I'm saying? That's interesting to me. But we'll see what happens in a second. So this code, um, this code worked really, really well. We were able to generate the. I think we should have used text
Instead of
for that.
string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to come back here. Exit that. I want to make sure I don't lose it. Okay. I'm going to do it again. Get rid of it. Run it. Come back. There you are. And um, there that is. And no, I guess not. I guess it didn't matter. No. All right. So I don't understand that, but
Hmm.
I think hex was better anyway. Okay. I don't think it's going to matter. Hopefully it doesn't matter. I just find it odd that it's doing that, but yeah. I don't think we write anything lowercase to the database anyway, so. But it then does a Marshall text when it does that too, so. Let's see. If it's an issue, we'll fix it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. Okay, so I now have a JSON web token. We'll have to go through the same dance with you in a second. Okay, I can't verify the signature right here because I have to get the public key and I don't have a copy of the public key because I didn't write any. Oh, I do have a copy of the, I can get the, well, no, I don't. I'd have to write some more code to get the public key. I am worried about it, at least unless we have to debug it.
Yeah.
Now we have a token. That token needs to be used in a couple of places. For sure, it needs to be here, right? So let's do that. Yeah. Now, how do I? Oh, request header. There we go. So now what we have to do.
Okay.
Now we're passing the request header here. That should let us connect now. Ready to try?
Yeah. Let's see.
We still have to deal with the other two endpoints.
But this first one.
Okay. I didn't like the way I did this, to be honest with you. It's a map. So I guess I have to do it that way. I hate the design of that, but it is what it is. That's my fault. All right. Okay. So if you see here, let's do it again. We'll do some debugging now.
Yeah,
Now, this did say true.
it did.
So I think I have a bug in the logic because if OK is true, oh, no. X is false. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's double check a few things. This is the token. Nice. Interesting. Everything so far looks good there because this is the token. And where is that? Auth 134. Let's go look at auth. I can't always have things work right out of the box, dude. Okay. So we did log that properly there. And so my guess is a couple things. The first thing I want to check, yep, we didn't set the issuer. Okay. Didn't set
Okay.
the issuer. So see, I didn't set the issuer on this. We didn't do a couple things, okay? I didn't set the issuer and I didn't set an expiration. So if I go to Go Tooling, Admin, Commands, Gen Token, I didn't do these two things. So this is going to expire in I can't remember. This is like a year or something.
Okay.
8,760 hours in a year, maybe. I don't remember. I did the
I
math
feel
wrong.
like that would be a year.
Yeah. And then issued. My guess is this will now work. Now, the problem is that the token is bad now. So
Oh, you have to regenerate it.
I have to regenerate.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing, though. If I already have a token, I mean, generating it all the time is no big deal. But let's just do this for a minute. Print line. Let's just do this for a minute. Then I can just copy and paste it back in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of going through the dance again. Because now I got to generate another token. So
Oh,
damn thing
well,
worked.
it worked.
No, it didn't.
No, unauthorized.
It didn't work. But let me take this as my token. And let me put this token in our editor here. Because now I have USDL project. I've got our sub and I've got our expiration dates, which is a year from now. Okay. And just to triple check on the cap, USDL project. Okay. So with that token saved, let's see what happens now. I've never done this with a WebSocket, but it shouldn't matter. Okay. Oh, no, this is good. So it actually worked. It actually worked.
Oh,
Remember the
because we
rest of the
haven't.
APIs.
Yeah,
Yeah, we haven't done the rest of the,
yeah,
which
the other.
means that this wrote to the, that means that when this client starts up and I did new database, huh, I would have thought it did the red and it didn't do it again. So somehow, I don't know why it worked the other time. Anyway, dude, how cool is this?
Yeah,
We
JWT
now we have a JSON Web
secure.
Token there. We just got to do the rest of these calls. So, um, where are the rest of these calls done? There's a call to status, right? I don't know where we put any of that code. That's the problem. And where we use it. There. It's all in here.
Yeah.
So this is an app. Oh, this is beautiful. App already has it then, right? No. Okay, so let's go back real quick. Oh, dude, guess what? Yeah. When we create the app, we got to pass the token.
Mm.
And then we don't need to do what we did in the on that endpoint. So watch. Client new app. JSON Web Token. We're going to have a JSON Web Token. JSON Web Token, right? Get rid of this. That becomes app. Now, I don't need this. I need this. Fix it for me. Yay. Cool, right?
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So now each route doesn't need it. It's in basically a level above.
Yeah.
The app itself has it. Okay.
I think that's it, dude. Yeah, I think that's it. Anywhere that we did a
Just yeah. Just give you this example.
okay, establish TCP connection. Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I bet you now, by some miracle here.
Just like that.
Now we have some authentication here at least. Not anybody can. Okay, so we got to fix your system now. So let me do the following.
Yes.
Let me do a git add, git commit -am added to endpoints Git push. So pull your latest,
Yep.
and then when you run the TUI, it's going to fail. And then what you need to do is add that JSON Web Token I outputted to like
Yeah.
your line
So
6.
there.
So did you get your token
I did.
and you added it to your data.json?
I did. Why am I missing? Oh, here. There we go. This and added. Yep, I did. All right, we are good to go. Make run to UI. Yeah.
So connect to me. Oh, I don't have tail scale on. That's fine. That's fine. Don't
Oh,
even worry
yeah.
about it.
But
No, that's
I
fine.
didn't
That's fine. That's
either.
fine. That's fine. All right. I'm going to kill this. So you have that working.
Yep, working.
Okay. So that wasn't bad. I mean, again, I stole a bunch of code from service, but um, we now have the secure app layer endpoints with JSON Web Token.
It was pretty cool though. I haven't seen the actual JWT or like the auth package, and like when I've sat for the classes, we've never really like done that portion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fair.
So it was cool to see it.
HTTP sort of form for. So we're going to use the HTTP form stuff for the file uploads. We're going to need to exchange a JSON Web Token to make that happen, because we're going to have to secure the endpoint for that. And then obviously there's going to have to be some form of encryption there. But with this in place now, we could just build a route to do the file transfer. We don't need to do that manually. And now somebody just can't connect unless we approve them, right?
Very cool.
Now, ideally, too, it would be nice if we could do something like have the TUI be asked to approve the transfer, something like that, right? Get that communication sort of going again. But I'm going to save these notes here. All right. All right, so get commit minus a. I'm just saving notes. So then anybody new that is going to see this, let me come back to us now. So like a Mohammed or something, now that stuff's going to fail because they're not going to have the JSON Web Token. But printing it out to the screen helps, because probably should have put some instructions there. But
Yeah.
at least now it's secure to
Oh,
some level, at some level.
yeah.
As secure as a JSON Web Token is going to give anybody sort of security. And so then I think for next week, now we could get the file transfer stuff working, and then make sure we're securing it with the token, and do some other stuff. And man, this thing's come a long way, right?
It has, yeah.
But
It's like a chat app on steroids at this point.
uh, I know, but I don't want to edit anything that's working. That's why I keep going with
Yeah.
add. All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We got some cool code. You learned some JSON Web Token stuff today, which was kind of cool. We could put those in the show notes. And we'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend.